This is looking really crazy actually. Doing this again, if we're even doing this again. But anyway, hello, I'm back, question mark. Yeah, I think I might actually be coming back a little bit. This is my first time filming in the past like 3 years. Thought I was just gonna sit down, record this video. It was just gonna be like a little video of us chatting, us catching up on life, either getting to know me, seeing what I've been up for the past 3 years. We're gonna be chatting. I'm just getting ready for a rugby game right now. Let's just get into this. This is literally the first YouTube video I have filmed since 2023, and a lot has happened since then. We're kind of just dipping our toe back into the water, you know, see how I like it. I'm gonna film this, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna watch it and see how I feel, honestly. And if I get inspiration for more videos, then amazing. I feel like we should just do the basics. If you don't know, my name is Corinne. I am actually currently 21 years of age. When you last saw me, I would have been, I think I was 18. So yes, last you saw me, I was actually heading to America to do 1 summer as a counselor with Camp America. So that was honestly an insane experience. I cannot like talk about it enough. One of the most amazing things I've ever done. So I was in a camp in North Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I was just hired as a normal summer counselor. So I was hired to do like everyday life essentially with the girls and just basically be their like first point of contact and the person that like is with them throughout the day. I was working with girls, how old were they? They were 8, I think they were 8. They were like some of the younger girls, which honestly I loved because I feel like they kind of just grew and we all just like adored each other. Like they almost became like, you know, your little sisters in a way. So I was there from start of June till start of August, and yeah, I met some of the most incredible people, and it was such a big thing for me because I am a like non-social person. Like I struggled with that kind of side of things and like making friends like instantly, and so this was just something that was like so out of my comfort zone. I grew so much as a person, I learned so much as a person. Literally some of the best 2 months of my life that I had. Before camp, I spent about a week with my grandparents in the state of Maryland, which I am in the end so happy that I did. I haven't really seen them much throughout my life, so I was just so happy to get some time with them. After camp, I actually did a lot of traveled with my mum. We went to Tennessee for a couple days, and then we went to Dollywood and we saw a bit of her family that lives down there as well. Yeah, that was really fun. And then we came back and then we actually flew over to London and we had a little bit of a Euro summer. We did England, but we just went to London, and then we went to Scotland. So we went up north to Aberdeen for a couple days, and then we did Edinburgh as well. Where did we go after Scotland? We went to Italy after Scotland. So we did 2 and a bit days in Rome, and then we spent the longest portion of our trip on the Amalfi Coast. So we actually stayed in Pariano, which is the town over from Positano, which is like the really like popular town that everybody kind of stays at. The Amalfi Coast is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. It was just so peaceful, so relaxing. Like it wasn't anything too intense or anything like that, which I almost enjoyed. It was like a break from like the big like sightseeing and like, you know, we have to do this and this. Like it just felt so like peaceful. After Pariano, we did a massive travel day, and we ended up in kind of the northern part of Italy a little bit and went to a place called Bologna. Oh, sorry, I'm concentrating so hard on my inner corner. So we ended up in Bologna, where we did explore a little bit, but I gotta admit that's probably one of the towns where I didn't feel very welcome in. They do have like signs and people like graffitied on the walls where like it's like, we don't want tourists here. But the town itself was honestly so cool, and it was really pretty and just fun to walk around. So we did 2 nights there, and we were going to do 3 days. So we we're going to do 1 day in Venice and 1 day in Florence, because it was kind of the halfway point by train, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. So I actually ended up where I went with my dad to Venice, and then my mom and my sister went to Florence, because those were like our 2 preferred cities. Like I really wanted to go to Venice. Again, one of my actual like bucket list places that I wanted to go, and it was so cool. Like it was just such an intriguing city. Like there's genuinely nowhere else like it, and I've never been anywhere else like it. That was probably one of my favorite days of the trip. Yeah, so then after Bologna, we actually did another big travel day, and we made it to the south of France near Montpellier, and we were just visiting some family there. So we spent a couple days with family and just kind of like exploring, and they own a vineyard, so we went to their vineyard, which was really cool. And then afterwards, me and my dad, we went to Paris for like 3 days, I think. Gosh, it was very hot there, but that was really cool. Obviously did all the main sites, Eiffel, Louvre. Again, we just honestly walked around, and like that's just how we were seeing things and doing things. We actually took the Eurostar back to London, and I stayed like an extra day in London, had like a little bit of an afternoon in London until I flew back to Washington DC that evening. Now the plan was always going to be me flying back to the US and spending a couple extra days there, and then flying back to New Zealand like a week after that. But unfortunately our plans did change. We did have a little bit of a family thing, and I ended up staying until the end of October, so I was there for an extra 2 months than I had originally planned. Honestly, it was still so much fun, and I got to experience the end of summer there and the start of autumn and a bit of the Halloween vibe at the start of October, which I love. I love Halloween so much, to be honest. So that was really fun. We even ended up doing a little ghost tour of the town that we were in where my mum grew up. So that was actually really fun, even though it was a little strange, but like we had a lot of fun doing that. Essentially, I came back end of October. It took me such a long time to find a job. Like I was really struggling. It was really hard to find a job at that point in time, and at that point I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like I came back and I was like, what on earth do I do over the summer? So for the summer I was just living here at home, and I didn't have a job, so I was trying to spend as much time with my friends. Finally, in like the last week of January, I decided I'm gonna go study makeup. It was literally a week before this course had started that I enrolled, and I decided I am going to study makeup artistry. Honestly, that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, to be fair, so far. It was such a fun course. I'll probably put up some pictures and stuff of the makeup that I ended up doing. It was all on other people, all on different models that we did, and I learned so much. I improved my skills just on basic makeup, and then I learned skills that like I've been dreaming of doing, like SFX skills with all the blood and the scarring and that kind of stuff, and movie makeup and film makeup. It actually made me realize that that is kind of like what I want to do. Like that is the point in time where I had decided I want to do makeup for films and TV. I've always had such a fascination with the TV and movie world. Like if I could, I would be an actress. But so I'm hoping, you know, makeup will be my way into this world a little bit. But it's such a hard industry to get into because all of our connections. That course again taught me so much about myself, and I made some of my like best friends that I have now. So with this, I also decided that I wanted to move out because my parents don't live in town. An hour and a half driving like every single day just to go to a 3.5-hour class. I wanted a bit more independence anyway. So I actually moved in with my sister. We flatted together for a whole year, and it was actually really incredible. We actually found a flat in the city center, so it was like perfect. Like I could walk to school. It would take me 20 minutes every day. I am someone who is definitely like a city life type of person, or I am currently like in my 20s. So being 19 and living in the city, although Christchurch is not a large city, it just felt so cool. I was so happy that I could like be with my sister and stuff. So like I feel like we had really, I don't know, we formed a different kind of connection that year. I couldn't move out until I had found a job that, even though I was having student loans and stuff, I wanted a bit of extra money. So I waited until I found a job, which luckily I only had to wait till March. So the course started in February and I found a job in March, so I could move into town in March. So it was only like a month of me doing the big travel between town and home every day. Yeah, that was me for the year of 2024. We lived in the flat for a year, and I was working part-time, and I did my course until I graduated in December of 2024. It was only a year course. Once I finished the course, I did just go into full-time working because I wasn't getting a student loan anymore. Obviously, our lease was going to be up in March of 2025, and I actually moved in with two of my best friends that year. Like last year was, I don't even know how to describe last year. Last year was genuinely one of my favorite years ever. I don't know, I just like, I felt so much freedom and like I could just be myself. I could do what I want. It was so incredible living with two of your best friends and your closest people, and you become like this little like community of yourselves, you know. I also started going to the gym last year. It was kind of later last year, but started going to the gym. Really love going to the gym. Unfortunately, I've fallen off a little bit since moving back, but that's okay. Honestly, I really did love going to the gym and still do, and I found that as a bit of a passion a little bit, or just like as something I really love doing. At this point I was still working full-time at my current job. Working full-time, especially in a bit of a hospitality kind of job, it is a bit tough. I mean, I love all the people I work with, which is also amazing, but I don't know, the actual like job side of things isn't my most favorite, especially because like at this point I had figured out what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do makeup, and I almost felt like I was letting myself down by not using my degree. Well, not degree, but my certificate. I was a qualified makeup artist. I wasn't really doing anything with it, so I felt a little bit like down about that. But no, the social side of things honestly was incredible. I made new connections with people as well, like all of last year. I don't know, in a way they've like changed my life and like shaped me for who I am. So I don't know, I'm very grateful for those people. That was me last year, and then essentially I didn't re-sign the lease for this year, and I had a very good reason for that. So I decided to move home. So that is kind of currently where we're at now. I am still working full-time at my job. I'm actually assistant manager, sorry. No, so I'm assistant manager at my store now, which is nice. I like having all the a bit more responsibility. It is kind of fun. It was very stressful and very intimidating at the start as well. I enjoy somewhat what I do now, so you know, I can't really ask for much more than that. This year has definitely been an interesting year so far. Yeah, I've really thrown myself into work and saving money, so it honestly hasn't left me a lot of time to do much else, unfortunately. Anyway, so that is my entire catch up of my life since you guys last saw me. But I also wanted to use this as a little bit of a get to know me as well. I feel like the first part of the video was very much for like any like past subscribers or just past people that used to watch my videos. If you've come back and watched this, literally like thank you. Like I'm just kind of going with the flow here, like I'm just yapping. But like, yeah, we should talk about me, as if we haven't been talking about me for the past like however long it's been. I was born in Christchurch, New Zealand, so I was born and raised here up until the age of 5. I've lived in a fair few places. I have lived obviously in Christchurch, and then I moved to Lake Tekapo, which is down south in the Mackenzie country. When I was 5, lived there for about 2 years, and then we actually moved over to Australia when I was 7, I think. We first moved to like a little small beach town for about 2 years, I think it was, and then we moved to Melbourne, and we were there for about 5 years. But also at the time, like I didn't want to like move back. I was this 15, was I 15? Yes. I was this 15-year-old like in the middle of high school. I'd actually just started a new high school that year, and I just moved back, and you know, I was like away from all my friends. It was a really scary time in my life, and like it was definitely very hard for me to adjust here, because as much as people are like, oh, Australia and New Zealand aren't that different, but they are. So it was just a really big adjustment, and I loved living in Melbourne. I loved the big city life and everything to do with it, honestly, and I loved all my friends there, and I wanted to finish high school there, but you know, COVID happened, so it was just the way that the cards panned out. Like I'm so happy with the school that I ended up in. Like I feel like I had so many opportunities, and I feel like I really excelled at my last like 2.5 years of school. But yeah, and then so I finished high school here. Obviously one of my biggest passions is makeup. I specifically love the creative side of makeup. Like I'm not a big like basic clean girly. Like I love the creative side. I love the bold, colorful looks. I love creating characters on people. Well, I like it on myself, but like, you know, creating characters and stuff that you can do through makeup. Like other things I like to do, I don't know if you can tell by my background, I've kind of become a Lego girly in the past like 2 years. The biggest one I have is like the mini Hogwarts set, which I haven't built, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get around to it, to be honest. It's I got very frustrated while building it, so I've taken a break. Those are the kind of things that I like to do. With this particular YouTube channel, that was something I was also very passionate about. I do really love making videos. I really love the editing side of things. In 2022 is really when I thought my editing game was like peak. Also a big thing of mine, as you may have already been able to tell, is traveling. I love to travel, and I feel that is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I want my job to involve traveling. Like, I just want to be able to travel, live different places. I want to be able to experience different cultures, and like, that is just something that I want. And I feel like that is what I want to do with my money. That is what I want to do. Like, that is how I'm gonna feel like rich in life, if you will. It's just these experiences. I feel like this is more of a catch up than a get to know me, but I also feel like they were like 2 in 1. You know, I just wanted to share everything that had been going on. There are some exciting changes happening in the next literally 3 months. So I literally booked my ticket, my one-way ticket, to move back to Melbourne in October. Something I have wanted to do and something I had planned to do for the past like almost 2 years now, actually. I have wanted to plan to move back to Melbourne because I just feel like there's so much opportunity there, especially with makeup as well. And it just so happened that one of my friends wanted to move as well, so we're actually moving together, which is so crazy. I love Melbourne as a city. Like, it is genuinely one of my favorite cities in the world. I just want to experience that kind of life again, to be honest. When I stopped doing YouTube and stopped creating videos, like, I was going away, and I just felt that that was really hard for me to balance. And looking back now, it really wouldn't have been possible for me to post YouTube videos or just continue that while I was away. So it just became something that had fallen off a little bit, and then when I came back, I just wasn't like, I just didn't want to. Like, that's just not something, like, I wanted to get my life sorted a little bit. One of the reasons in the first place that I started making these videos is because, like, it wasn't really for anyone in particular, it was for me. Like, I love, like, even now I love looking back on my old videos from high school, and it's like a little video diary for me. And I feel like, you know, I'm going to be starting this like next sort of chapter in my life, you know. I'm moving and really feeling like I'm like living alone, and I feel like I really wanted to like document that for like the future, and like being able to look back on that, and everything will be so incredible. So that is part of the reason why I am coming back. I did really miss making videos and editing and YouTube, and you know, it gives me something extra to do, and I love filling my time with that sort of thing. I mean, I'm still very much like, is this gonna make it on YouTube? You know, like I said, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna see how I feel about future videos. Well, so this is me ready, and I hope that you enjoyed catching up or getting to know me a little bit more now that it's been 3 years. And honestly, I'm really hoping this is a bit of a comeback to YouTube, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, to be honest. I'm excited. I think I'm ready. I've caught up, and I loved it. I loved our little chat, our little yap. So I will just leave the video here. And yeah, I'm really hoping that the next one is fun as well. Yeah, okay, bye.